Welcome back to Infidelity Tales Lab. We're incredibly grateful for your support. Before we begin today's tale, tell us, which city or country are you joining us from? We love connecting with our global audience. Now let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. The Quiet Life, the Seed of Doubt. Art Jensen gripped the whiteboard marker tightly as he sketched out a timeline of the American Revolution. His students watched intently, some taking notes, others simply absorbing his passionate delivery. Teaching wasn't just a job for him, it was his calling. And that's why Paul Revere's ride became such a pivotal moment. Art explained, his deep voice carrying to the back of the classroom. Any questions? A dozen hands shot up, eager faces looking at him. Art smiled, checking the clock. We got time for 3 questions. Make them count. After class, Art gathered his materials, his mind already drifting to home. The thought of his twins, Leo and Luna, waiting for him brought warmth to his expression. At 10 years old, they were bundles of endless energy and curiosity. The drive home was peaceful, the radio playing softly in the background. Art pulled into his driveway, noting Ellie's car was absent again. His wife's real estate career had been demanding lately, keeping her away more often than not. Inside, Mrs. Rodriguez, their regular babysitter, greeted him with a tired smile. The twins are in the backyard, Mr. Jensen. They've been quite energetic today. Thanks, Maria. You can head home now. Art handed her the week's payment, adding a generous tip. Same time tomorrow? Of course. She gathered her belongings and left, leaving Art alone in the quiet house. He found the twins in the backyard, engaged in what appeared to be an intense soccer match. Leo's dark hair was plastered to his forehead with sweat, while Luna's ponytail had come half undone. Dad! They chorused, abandoning their game to rush toward him. Art wrapped them both in a tight hug, inhaling the scent of grass and childhood. How was school? I got an A on my science project. Luna beamed. That's fantastic. Art ruffled her hair. And you, Leo? Leo shrugged, suddenly interested in his shoes. Math test didn't go so well. We'll work on it together, Art promised, leading them inside. Who's hungry? As he prepared dinner, simple pasta with his grandmother's secret sauce recipe, Art checked his phone. No messages from Ellie. He pushed down the familiar twinge of worry and focused on the twins' chatter. Mom said she'd take us shopping this weekend, Luna announced, twirling spaghetti around her fork. Did she? Art kept his tone neutral. That's nice. With Michael, Leo added, and Art's hand stilled momentarily over the pot he was stirring. Michael Thorne. The name had been coming up more frequently lately. A tech entrepreneur who'd been mentoring Ellie in real estate investments, or so she claimed. Art had met him once at a business networking event Ellie had dragged him to. The man exuded confidence and wealth, from his tailored suit to his perfectly white teeth. Michael's really cool, Leo continued, oblivious to his father's tension. He showed me pictures of his yacht last time. Art served the pasta, his movements controlled. When was this? When Mom took us to lunch last week, Luna replied. He said he'd teach me to sail someday. The front door opened, and Ellie's voice rang out. I'm home. She swept into the kitchen, her designer outfit immaculate despite the long day. Her blonde hair was perfectly styled, her makeup fresh. She barely glanced at Art before bending to kiss the twins. Have you eaten? Art asked, already knowing the answer. Had a late lunch with clients. She poured herself a glass of wine. The Peterson deal is almost closed. Biggest commission this year. Congratulations. Art watched her take a long sip. The twins mentioned shopping with Michael this weekend. Ellie's green eyes narrowed slightly. Yes, he's helping me look at some investment properties. Thought it would be nice to make a day of it with the kids. I could come along, Art suggested, keeping his voice level. Haven't been involved much in your real estate ventures lately. Don't be silly, Art. You'd be bored to tears. She waved dismissively. Besides, don't you have papers to grade? Before Art could respond, her phone buzzed. She checked it, a small smile playing at her lips. I need to take this. Business call. She left the kitchen, her voice dropping to a whisper as she disappeared upstairs. Art turned back to the twins, who were finishing their dinner. Who wants to help me with dishes? Later that night, after the twins were in bed, Art sat in his study grading papers. The house was quiet except for the occasional murmur of Ellie's voice from their bedroom. Another business call? He thought back to when they'd first met at that college party. Ellie had been magnetic, drawing everyone's attention with her laugh and quick wit. Art had been surprised when she'd chosen to talk to him, the quiet history major who preferred books to parties. They'd build a life together, or so he'd thought. A life built on trust, on shared dreams, on the love they had for their children. But lately, that foundation felt shaky. His phone buzzed, a text from Ellie. Going to bed. Don't stay up too late. Art stared at the message, remembering a time when she would have come to tell him in person, maybe with a kiss goodnight. When had they started living separate lives under the same roof? The next day passed in a blur of classes and faculty meetings. Art returned home to find the house empty except for Mrs. Rodriguez and the twins. Your wife called, Mrs. Rodriguez said, gathering her things. She said she'll be late again. Something about a client emergency. Art nodded, already reaching for his phone. No messages from Ellie. Just a missed call from the school principal about an upcoming parent-teacher conference. He helped the twins with their homework, made dinner, and supervised their bedtime routine. It was nearly midnight when he heard Ellie's car in the driveway. She slipped into the house quietly, but Art was waiting in the kitchen. Client emergency? He asked. Ellie jumped slightly. Art, you startled me. Yes, the Hendersons were being difficult about the closing costs. Funny, I drove by your office today. It was dark. She stiffened. We were meeting at their house. At this hour? Don't start, Art. She rubbed her temples. I'm too tired for an interrogation. I'm not interrogating you, Ellie. I'm trying to understand what's happening to us. Nothing is happening to us. I'm just busy. Success requires sacrifice. You know that. Does it require lying? Her eyes flashed. Excuse me? The twins mentioned lunch with Michael last week. You told me you were showing houses that day. I ran into him while I was out with the kids. It wasn't planned. She turned away, heading for the stairs. I'm going to bed. Art watched her go, his hands clenched at his sides. The lies were getting easier for her, smoother. How long had this been going on? The next few days followed a similar pattern. Ellie was barely home, and when she was distant, distracted. The twins spent more time talking about Michael's promises, trips, gifts, adventures that Art couldn't. Then came the evening that changed everything. Art was walking past the game room when he heard the twins' voices, hushed but clear. Who will you choose when they split? Leo's voice carried through the partially open door. Art froze, his hand gripping the door frame. Obviously Mom's friend Michael, Luna replied. He's buying us that beach house and promised me a Lamborghini for graduation. Mom showed me old photos, Leo added. He's our real dad from their secret relationship before she met Dad. Explains our green eyes. The world didn't tilt. It shattered. Art stood there, unable to move, unable to breathe. The twins' words replayed in his mind, each repetition a fresh stab of betrayal. He looked at his reflection in the glass pane of the door, his brown eyes, so different from the twins' green ones, staring back at him. All these years, he thought those eyes came from Ellie's side of the family. The betrayal wasn't just about Ellie's affair. It wasn't just about Michael's interference in their lives. It was about his entire identity as a father being a lie. Art moved away from the door silently, his mind racing. He went to his study, locked the door, and opened his laptop. With trembling fingers, he began searching for information about Michael Thorne, about paternity laws, about DNA testing. Hours passed. The house grew quiet. Art heard Ellie come home, heard her moving around upstairs. He didn't join her. He couldn't face her, not yet. Not until he had processed this revelation. Dawn found him still in his study, his eyes red but dry. He had made his decision. There would be no confrontation, no dramatic scene. That wasn't his style, but there would be consequences. Art Jensen, the quiet history teacher who valued loyalty above all else, felt something harden inside him. The man who had built his life around forgiveness and understanding was gone. In his place was someone else, someone who would make them all pay for their betrayal. Chapter 2. The Unraveling Truth, the Silent Departure. The digital clock on Art's nightstand blinked 2:45 a.m. He moved through the darkness of his bedroom with quiet purpose, gathering essentials into a duffel bag. Each item was chosen with careful consideration: clothes, toiletries, important documents. Ellie slept soundly, unaware of his movements. Her phone buzzed on her nightstand, the screen illuminating briefly. Another late-night message from Michael, no doubt. Art resisted the urge to check it. He didn't need more confirmation of her betrayal. In his study, he opened the safe hidden behind his grandmother's portrait. Inside was the photo album he'd maintained since the twins were born. He removed it carefully, running his fingers over the cover. Inside were memories. First steps, birthday parties, school plays, all captured in photographs that now felt like evidence of an elaborate deception. He paused at a photo from the twins' 5th birthday. They were beaming at the camera, their green eyes, Michael's eyes, sparkling with joy. Art had always thought they got those eyes from Ellie's father. Another lie in a life built on lies. In the kitchen, he wrote his note. Simple, direct. I need some time. No explanations, no accusations. Let them wonder. Let them worry. The twins' rooms were his last stop. He stood in their doorways, watching them sleep. Despite everything, his love for them hadn't diminished. If anything, it had grown fiercer, more protective. They were victims too, manipulated by their mother's lies and Michael's false promises. Luna stirred in her sleep, mumbling something about a beach house. Art's jaw clenched. Michael's promises, his attempts to buy their affection, would come back to haunt him. At exactly 3 a.m., Art Jensen walked out of his home, carrying only his duffel bag and the photo album. His car started quietly, and he backed out of the driveway without turning on the headlights. As he drove through the sleeping streets of Ashwood, memories flooded his mind. Meeting Ellie at that college party, her laughter drawing him in. Their wedding day, her eyes shining with what he thought was love. The day the twins were born, his heart expanding with a love he never knew possible. All lies, every moment tainted by deception. He drove without destination, putting miles between himself and the life that had crumbled around him. The sun was rising when he finally stopped at a small motel several hours from Ashwood. The motel clerk barely looked at him as he checked in under a false name. The room was basic: a bed, a desk, a bathroom with flickering fluorescent lights. It would do. Meanwhile, back in Ashwood, Ellie woke to an empty bed. She found Art's note in the kitchen and rolled her eyes. Dramatic much? She muttered, pulling out her phone to text Michael. Art's gone. Left a note saying he needs time. Michael's response was immediate. What exactly does he know? Nothing. He's probably just sulking because I've been working late. We need to handle this carefully, Elle. Call me? Ellie glanced at the twins' closed doors before stepping onto the back patio. He doesn't suspect anything, she assured Michael when he answered. He's always been the sensitive type. This isn't how we planned it. Michael's voice was tight with anger. He was supposed to confront us, make a scene, give us reason to paint him as unstable. What does it matter? He's gone. Isn't that what we wanted? We wanted him gone on our terms. This is unpredictable. The twins came downstairs as Ellie ended the call. They found the note, read it with different reactions. Luna's face fell, while Leo tried to appear indifferent. Where's Dad? Luna asked. He needs some space, Ellie replied smoothly. You know how he gets sometimes. He'll be back. Will Michael come over? Leo asked, his tone hopeful. Ellie smiled, running her fingers through his hair the same shade as Michael's. Of course, sweetie. In fact, why don't we invite him for dinner? In his motel room, Art sat at the desk, his laptop open. He began methodically documenting everything: dates, conversations, suspicious patterns in Ellie's behavior. He created a timeline of Michael's appearances in their lives, noting how the twins' attitudes had shifted after each interaction. His phone buzzed repeatedly throughout the day. Calls from Ellie, from the school, from friends asking if everything was okay. He ignored them all. Days passed. Art found a small cabin for rent in a mountain town across the state line. The owner, an elderly woman named Martha, didn't ask questions when he paid 3 months' rent in cash. The cabin was isolated, surrounded by dense forest. Perfect for a man who needed to disappear, to plan, to transform his pain into purpose. He spent his days hiking the mountain trails, pushing his body to exhaustion. Physical pain was preferable to the emotional torment that threatened to overwhelm him. At night, he sat on the cabin's porch, staring at the stars, remembering how he used to teach the twins constellation names. His grandmother had always told him that betrayal was the deepest wound because it came from those you trusted most. She'd raised him after his parents' death, teaching him the value of loyalty, of standing up for what was right. "What would you do, Gran?" he whispered to the night sky. "How would you handle this betrayal?" The answer came not from the stars, but from deep within himself. His grandmother had also taught him about justice, about consequences. She wouldn't want him to suffer in silence. Back in Ashwood, life moved on without him. Michael practically moved into the house, bringing expensive gifts and grand promises. The twins were drawn deeper into his web of materialism, their loyalty shifting with each new indulgence. Ellie thrived on the chaos she created, enjoying the attention from concerned friends and neighbors. She played the role of the confused, supportive wife perfectly, telling anyone who would listen that Art was just going through a phase, that he'd come back when he'd processed whatever was bothering him. But as weeks turned into a month, doubt began to creep in. Art hadn't touched their joint bank account. His cell phone remained off. He hadn't contacted anyone from the school. It was as if he'd vanished completely. Michael's frustration grew. This wasn't how he'd planned to take over Art's life. He wanted confrontation, wanted to prove Art was unstable and unfit. Instead, Art's quiet departure had given him no ammunition. In his cabin, Art was changing. The quiet, forgiving teacher was being replaced by someone harder, someone focused on revenge rather than reconciliation. He kept the photo album by his bed, a reminder of what had been stolen from him. Each night, before sleep, he looked at pictures of the twins, not to torture himself, but to fuel his resolve. They deserved to know the truth, about their mother's lies, about Michael's manipulation, about their own history. Justice would come, but not through emotional outbursts or violent confrontation. No, Art would dismantle their world piece by piece, exposing every lie. Chapter 3. The Call of Warning, the first spark of retaliation. The mountain cabin silence was broken by the harsh buzz of Art's phone. He stared at the unknown number, debating whether to answer. Something, instinct perhaps, made him swipe to accept. "Hello." His voice was rough from disuse. "Daddy?" Luna's small voice cracked through the speaker. Art's heart stopped. "Luna? What's wrong?" She was whispering, fear evident in her voice. "I found something on Michael's laptop. He left it open and a shaky breath. Daddy, he's planning your accident." Blood rushed in Art's ears. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "There were messages." Luna's voice trembled. "He wants to hurt you. Make it look like—" A sob broke through. "Like an accident." In the background, Art heard a door slam. Luna gasped. "I have to go." The line went dead. Art sat motionless, the phone still pressed to his ear. The revelation crystallized something inside him, a transformation from victim to adversary. He moved to his laptop with deliberate precision. Michael Thorne wanted to orchestrate an accident? He'd learned what it meant to make an enemy of a man with nothing left to lose. The laptop hummed to life. Art's fingers flew across the keyboard, creating new email accounts, establishing anonymous profiles. His browser history filled with searches about Michael Thorne's business empire, his associates, his weaknesses. Public records revealed a pattern of suspicious business dealings. Companies that appeared and disappeared too quickly. Investments that seemed too good to be true. Art documented everything, building a digital arsenal. His phone buzzed again, Ellie this time. He declined the call, but noticed a voicemail notification. "Art, where are you?" Her voice was sharp, demanding. "The twins are acting strange. Luna's been crying. What did you say to her? You can't just disappear and then mess with their heads. Michael thinks." Art deleted the message. Of course, she'd consult Michael. He wondered if she knew about the accident her lover was planning. Was she complicit, or just another pawn in Michael's game? The next few days became a blur of research and planning. Art created false identities online, joining business forums where Michael's name appeared. He watched, learned, gathered information like a spider weaving its web. Michael's empire wasn't as solid as it appeared. Beneath the glossy surface lurked questionable deals and nervous investors. Art noted names, connections, and potential pressure points. Late one night, deep in his research, Art discovered an interesting detail. Iris, Michael's personal assistant. Young, ambitious, but treated poorly by her boss. The log showed her working impossible hours, handling Michael's dirty work while receiving minimal recognition. Art leaned back, considering every fortress had its weak points. Every tyrant had dissatisfied servants. Iris might prove useful. His phone buzzed again, another unknown number. This time, he let it go to voicemail. Dad. Leo's voice, uncertain. Mom says you're being selfish, that you abandoned us. But Luna's scared. She won't tell me why. Are you okay? Michael says, a pause. He says you might be dangerous, that we should be careful. But that's not true, right? Art's hands clenched. Michael was poisoning his children's minds, turning them against him. The same children he'd read bedtime stories to, taught to ride bikes, comforted after nightmares. He opened the photo album, finding a picture from last Christmas. The twins sat between him and Ellie, their green eyes, Michael's eyes, shining with happiness. The truth of their parentage still stung, but it didn't diminish his love for them. If anything, it strengthened his resolve to protect them from the lies surrounding their lives. His laptop pinged, another forum notification. Michael was hosting a business seminar next week, showcasing his latest investment opportunity. Art read the details carefully, noting the prominent investors scheduled to attend. Perfect timing. He began composing emails, anonymous tips about Michael's business practices, carefully worded concerns about investment safety. Each message was crafted to raise doubts without appearing malicious. A text from Ellie interrupted his work. The school board wants to know if you're coming back. They need an answer by Friday. Art ignored it. His teaching career seemed like a lifetime ago, belonging to a different man. The quiet, forgiving teacher was gone. In his place was someone focused, dangerous, someone who would make Michael Thorne regret ever targeting him. Luna's warning about the planned accident had changed everything. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about survival. He spent the night creating more online aliases, each designed to infiltrate different aspects of Michael's world. Business forums, investment groups, social circles. Art would be everywhere and nowhere, gathering intelligence, waiting for the right moment to strike. Dawn found him still at his laptop, his eyes red but focused. The first phase of his plan was ready. Michael thought he was orchestrating Art's accident. He learned that some prey bite back. Art closed his laptop and stepped onto the cabin's porch. The mountain air was crisp, invigorating. He thought about Luna's fearful warning, about Leo's confused message, about Ellie's demands. They thought they knew him, the mild-mannered teacher, the forgiving husband, the doting father. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Art Jensen wasn't running anymore. He was hunting. Chapter 4. The Unseen Network, the Plan Take. Art Jensen sat in his cabin, surrounded by multiple screens displaying different aspects of Michael Thorne's digital footprint. His transformation from teacher to avenger required more than just anger. It required strategy. Show me what you're hiding, Michael. Art muttered, his fingers flying across the keyboard. He had created 5 different online identities, each crafted to infiltrate different aspects of Michael's world. The first identity, Tech Investor 85, joined investment forums where Michael frequently posted about his ventures. The second, Corporate Whisperer, followed Michael's business social media. The third focused on real estate circles where Michael and Ellie operated. Each identity built credibility through careful interaction, never directly engaging with Michael, but always watching, learning. A notification popped up. Michael had posted about a new tech venture. Art leaned forward, analyzing the announcement. Thrilled to announce ThornTech's latest innovation in blockchain security. Join our exclusive investor briefing next month. Limited spots available. Art pulled up public records of ThornTech's previous ventures. A pattern emerged. Companies formed rapidly, massive investment rounds, then quiet dissolutions with investors losing millions. Michael's success wasn't built on innovation, but on manipulation. Mr. Jensen? A young voice crackled through his laptop speakers. It was Iris, Michael's assistant, responding to his anonymous message about workplace rights. "Call me James," Art replied, using voice modulation software. "Thank you for reaching out. I'm not sure I should be talking to you." Iris sounded nervous. "But what you said about Mr. Thorne's treatment of employees." "You're not the first to come forward, Iris." Art kept his modulated voice gentle. "How long has he been making you work 16-hour days without overtime?" A pause. "How did you know about that?" "I know a lot about Michael Thorne. The question is, how much do you want to know?" Art spent the next hour carefully leading Iris through a discussion of Michael's business practices. He didn't push, he didn't have to. Iris had 3 years of pent-up frustration, and once she started talking, the revelations poured out. "He makes me falsify documents," she admitted. "Investment reports, profit projections, all fake. But I can't prove it." "He's careful. What if you could prove it?" Art typed as they talked, documenting everything. "What if you had protection?" "Protection? From whom?" "People who want to see Michael Thorne face consequences. People with resources." Another pause. "I could lose my job. You could gain your freedom." Art opened a secure email client. "I'm sending you something. Take your time reviewing it." The email contained evidence of Michael's previous schemes, carefully selected to show Iris she wasn't alone. Art had spent weeks compiling it, making sure none of it could be traced back to him. After Iris disconnected, Art switched screens to monitor Michael's business forums. The whispers were starting, subtle questions about investment safety, hints about regulatory oversight. Art had planted these doubts carefully, using his various online identities to raise concerns without appearing targeted. His phone buzzed, a text from an old colleague at the school. "Police asked about you today. Said Michael Thorne filed a complaint about threatening messages." Art smiled. Michael was getting paranoid, exactly as planned. He switched to another screen, where he monitored Michael's public activities through social media. The man projected confidence, but Art had learned to read between the lines. Michael's recent posts showed signs of stress, more frequent updates, defensive responses to innocent questions. A new email arrived from one of Art's contacts in the financial sector. "That tip about Thorntech's blockchain project? You were right. The technology doesn't exist. It's all smoke and mirrors." Art added this information to his growing database. He had files on everything: Michael's business dealings, his personal life, his connections. But more importantly, he had files on Michael's enemies, people who'd love to see him fall. Another notification. Iris had responded to his email. "I have more documents. Things I've been keeping just in case. When can we talk?" "Tomorrow," Art replied. Same time, same secure line. He leaned back, surveying his work. Multiple screens showed different aspects of his plan: financial records, social media feeds, forum discussions, email chains. Each piece was a weapon, carefully crafted and positioned. A message from one of his investment forum aliases caught his attention. Someone claiming to be a former Thorntech employee wanted to share information. Art vetted the source carefully. This could be Michael trying to trace the source of his troubles. The cabin silence was broken by an incoming call. Unknown number. "Dad?" Leo's voice. "Mom's acting weird. She and Michael had a huge fight about money. Are you coming back?" Art's hand tightened on the phone. "Leo, are you safe?" Michael's different now. He's not fun anymore. He yells a lot. Tell me about the fight." He said something about investors pulling out. Mom said he promised her security, not chaos. Leo's voice dropped. She threw a glass at him. Art made a note to accelerate his timeline. The pressure was working. Michael was cracking. But he needed to ensure the twins' safety. "Leo, listen carefully. If you ever feel unsafe, call this number. Anytime, day or night. Promise me?" "I promise." "Dad, Luna misses you. She cries sometimes when Mom's not looking." The words cut deep, but Art remained focused. "I miss you both. Stay strong, son. Things will change soon." After the call ended, Art returned to his screens with renewed purpose. Michael had tried to steal his life, his children. Now Art would dismantle Michael's life, piece by piece. He opened a new document and began typing. Phase 1, information gathering complete. Phase 2, network infiltration complete. Phase 3. Reputation destruction. Initiating. A new message from Iris popped up. Meeting tomorrow night. All department heads. They're nervous about the blockchain project. Mr. Thorne is promising impossible returns. Art smiled. Perfect timing. He spent the next hours crafting messages to be released during the meeting. Subtle hints of financial irregularities, whispers of regulatory investigation, carefully worded concerns about investment security. Each message would come from a different source, each adding to the growing storm of doubt surrounding Michael Thorne. His phone buzzed again, another text from his school colleague. Michael was here again, asking questions. He seemed scared. Art, what did you do? Nothing, Art typed back. Yet, he turned back to his screens, to his plans, to his revenge. The quiet teacher was gone, replaced by someone Michael had created through his own actions. Someone patient, methodical, and utterly ruthless. Art opened his photo album, looking at his twins' faces. I'm coming home, he whispered. But first, I'm going to teach Michael Thorne what it means to lose everything. Chapter 5. The Seeds of Chaos. The Betrayal Deepens. The Thorntech conference room buzzed with tension. Michael Thorne paced at the head of the table, his usually immaculate appearance showing signs of strain. His collar was loose, his tie slightly askew. These rumors are baseless, he snapped at his board members. Our blockchain technology is revolutionary. The investors are just nervous about market conditions. Iris sat in the corner, appearing to take notes while actually recording everything on her encrypted phone. The device had arrived mysteriously at her apartment, with instructions she now knew came from James. Mr. Thorne, one board member spoke up. 3 major investors pulled out this morning. They're citing concerns about project viability. Michael slammed his hand on the table. Find them. Convince them they're making a mistake. There's more, another board member added. The Securities and Exchange Commission requested our development documentation. The color drained from Michael's face. What documentation? Exactly, the board member said softly. Back in Ashwood, Ellie paced her kitchen, phone pressed to her ear. Michael, we need to talk about these investment withdrawals. You promised me security. Not now, Ellie. Michael's voice was sharp. I'm handling it. Handling it? Our Bahamas trip was a disaster. Your competitors followed us everywhere. The kids are asking questions. Leo hardly speaks to me anymore. The kids are fine. They're just spoiled. Buy them something. Ellie gripped the phone tighter. Money isn't fixing this anymore, Michael. Luna found your laptop open yesterday. What? Michael's voice turned dangerous. What did she see? I don't know. She won't tell me. She locked herself in her room and called Leo's phone for hours. In his mountain cabin, Art watched the chaos unfold through his network of informants and digital surveillance. Iris's messages kept coming. Board meeting disaster. SEC investigation mentioned. Mr. Thorne lost control through his laptop. I have photos. Art typed back. Share them with the investment forum. Use the secure channel I provided. Another message popped up. This one from his contact in the financial sector. Thorntech stocks dropping. Investors panicking. What did you do? I showed them the truth, Art replied. Keep watching. He switched screens to monitor Michael's business forums. The photos from the board meeting were spreading. Michael Thorne, the composed business titan, red-faced and violent. The comments were brutal. Is this the man we trusted with millions? My retirement fund? Gone? SEC investigation? I'm calling my lawyer. Art's phone buzzed. Luna's number. Dad. Her voice was quiet. Something's wrong with Michael. He came to the house last night, really late. He and Mom were fighting about money and other things. What other things, sweetheart? I heard Mom say something about fake documents and lies. Michael grabbed her arm really hard. Leo tried to stop him, but Art's hand tightened on the phone. Did he hurt Leo? No, but he pushed him away. Dad, we're scared. Mom's been crying in her room all day. Listen carefully, Luna. Pack a small bag. You and Leo both. Keep it hidden but ready. If things get worse, go to Mrs. Rodriguez next door. Understand? Yes. Dad, I'm sorry we believed Michael's lies about being our real father. Mom showed us the old photos, but we'll talk about everything soon. Art promised. Stay safe. Watch out for your brother. After the call, Art's fingers flew across his keyboard with renewed urgency. He logged into his anonymous email account and composed a message to his contact in law enforcement. Domestic disturbance reported at Thorn residence. Witnesses report physical altercation with minors present. He CC'd his contact in the local news. Another message from Iris. Mr. Thorn demanded I delete all records of the blockchain project. I made copies first. Security footage shows him destroying documents in his office. Perfect, Art replied. Send everything to the address I gave you. Then take the rest of the day off. You don't want to be here for what happens next. Art opened his secure browser and logged into the whistleblower portal he'd discovered in his research. Time to let the SEC know about Thorntech's document destruction. His phone buzzed again. Ellie this time. He let it go to voicemail. Art, please. Her voice was desperate. Michael's lost it. The investments are gone. He's talking about leaving the country. The twins are terrified. I know I messed up, but please, call me back. Art deleted the message. Ellie had made her choices. Now she would face the consequences. He checked his other screens. Michael's reputation was crumbling in real time. The stock price was in free fall. Investors were demanding answers. The SEC investigation was making headlines. A new email arrived from one of his forum aliases, someone claiming to have proof of Michael's previous frauds. Art verified the information carefully. It was genuine and damaging. He crafted another anonymous tip, this time to a major financial newspaper. Thorntech CEO Michael Thorn. A history of fraud. The piece would run tomorrow morning. By then, the SEC would have the whistleblower documents. The police would have the domestic disturbance report. The investors would have proof of their missing millions. Art opened his photo album again, touching the twins' faces through the protective plastic. Soon he would bring them home. But first, he had to make sure Michael Thorn could never hurt them again. His phone lit up with another message from Iris. Mr. Thorn just fired half the board. He's in his office, shredding documents. Security called the police. Art leaned back, watching his revenge unfold across multiple screens. He had planted the seeds of chaos, and now they were blooming into perfect destruction. The warning signs were there. He typed into one of his investment forum accounts. We just didn't want to see them. The comment would be buried among hundreds of others, but it didn't matter. The damage was done. Michael Thorn's empire was collapsing, and Art Jensen, the quiet teacher he had tried to destroy, was the architect of his destruction. Chapter 6. The tides turn, the trap is set. The headlines splashed across major financial news sites. Thorntech CEO under investigation. Fraud allegations surfaced. In his penthouse office, Michael Thorn hurled his morning coffee against the wall. Find out who leaked this. Now! Iris pretended to make calls while secretly forwarding more documents to her anonymous contact. The evidence of fraud was overwhelming. Fabricated technical specifications, inflated user numbers, non-existent partnerships. Sir, she ventured, the SEC investigators are in the lobby. Michael yanked his tie loose. Stall them. I need time to... To what? A board member appeared in the doorway. Destroy more evidence? Get out. Michael roared. The board has called an emergency meeting. Your presence is required. In Ashwood, Ellie stared at her phone, reading the news. Her real estate clients were canceling contracts, citing her connection to Michael. Her reputation, built over years, was dissolving. Mom? Luna stood in the doorway. There are reporters outside. Ellie rushed to the window. News vans lined the street, reporters clutching microphones. Go to your room, she ordered. Don't answer any calls. Her phone buzzed. Michael again. She answered with trembling fingers. The Bahamas trip is off, he snapped before she could speak. Everything's off. The SEC froze my accounts. What about the house you promised us? The private school for the twins? Are you deaf? Everything's gone. Keep your mouth shut and lawyer up. The line went dead. Ellie sank onto the couch, her designer dress crumpling. The life she'd chosen, the life she'd betrayed Art for, was unraveling. In his cabin, Art orchestrated the final phases of his plan. Iris had provided access to Thorntech's internal servers. Evidence of fraud flowed to investigators, journalists, and angry investors. His phone buzzed with updates. Thorn Tech stock suspended from trading. SEC raids corporate headquarters. Investors file class action lawsuit. Michael Thorn, the fall of a tech titan. A message from his police contact. Domestic disturbance call worked. Thorn's got a restraining order now. Can't go near your kids. Art allowed himself a small smile. The trap had worked perfectly. Michael's desperation had made him violent, and now he couldn't legally approach the twins. His secure line blinked. Iris again. He's coming apart, she reported, screaming about conspiracies threatening everyone. Security had to escort 3 board members out. Are you safe? Art asked. Yes. Following your instructions. All evidence backed up and sent to authorities. Good. Get out now. What happens next isn't something you want to witness. Art switched screens to monitor the business forums. His various online identities had spent weeks building credibility. Now they led the chorus of outrage. Tech Investor 85. Entire blockchain project was vapor. No actual technology. Corporate whisperer. Sources say SEC investigation going criminal. Finance Watch. Multiple overseas accounts discovered. Tax fraud implications. His phone lit up. Leo's number. Dad? The reporters won't leave. Mom's crying in her room. Michael keeps calling, but she won't answer. Are you and Luna okay? Yeah. We packed bags like you said. Mrs. Rodriguez brought us dinner. She says we can stay with her if things get bad. Good. Stay together. I'll handle this. Art disconnected and turned back to his screens. Michael's empire was crumbling faster than expected. Another message from Iris flashed. Board meeting in chaos. 3 more executives resigned. Mr. Thorn threatened legal action against everyone. Art crafted his next move carefully. He had saved his most damaging evidence for this moment. Using his secure connection, he released proof of Michael's attempt to harm him. The accident plan Luna had discovered. The response was immediate. His police contact messaged. Criminal investigation opened. Attempted murder charges possible. In his penthouse office, Michael Thorn faced his remaining board members. Their faces showed no sympathy. The vote is unanimous, the chairman announced. You're out, Michael. Security will escort you from the building. You can't do this. Michael lunged forward. This company is mine. 2 security guards appeared. Sir, please come with us. Who's behind this? Michael's face contorted. Someone orchestrated this. Someone. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello, Michael. Art's voice, digitally altered, was cold. Enjoying your fall. Who is this? Someone who knows everything. Your frauds. Your schemes. Your plans for accidents. Michael's face went pale. Art. But the line was already dead. Ellie sat in her empty kitchen, scanning news articles about Michael's downfall. Her own phone hadn't stopped ringing, clients canceling contracts, friends distancing themselves, reporters seeking comments. She jumped at a knock on the door. 2 stern-faced detectives stood outside. Mrs. Jensen? We need to ask you some questions about Michael Thorn's business practices and your involvement in them. In his cabin, Art watched the final pieces fall into place. His revenge wasn't just about destroying Michael's business. It was about exposing every lie, every scheme, every betrayal. His phone lit up with message after message. Michael Thorn escorted from Thorn Tech building. SEC expands investigation to overseas accounts. Class action lawsuit filed by investors. Criminal probe opened into murder-for-hire allegations. A final message from Iris. It's done. He's finished. Thank you for showing me the truth. Art closed his laptops one by one. The trap had sprung perfectly. Michael Thorn's empire lay in ruins, his reputation destroyed, his freedom in jeopardy. Ellie's carefully constructed world of luxury and lies was collapsing. He picked up his photo album, looking at his twins' faces. Phase 2 was complete. The storm he had gathered had broken with perfect fury. Now it was time for the final act. Time to go home. Chapter 7. The public unveiling, the final blow. Michael Thorn's face filled news screens across the country. The headline beneath read, Tech CEO exposed. Years of fraud revealed. In his penthouse apartment, Michael hurled his remote at the TV. Turn it off. All of it. His lawyer, seated across from him, remained calm. Mr. Thorn, We need to discuss damage control. Damage control? Michael yanked open his desk drawer, pulling out a bottle of scotch. My company's gone. The SSC's breathing down my neck. What's left to control? Your freedom. The lawyer pushed a stack of documents forward. These allegations of attempted murder. Lies. Michael slammed the bottle down. Someone's orchestrating this. Someone who knows too much. His phone buzzed. Another news alert. Thorntech investigation expands. CEO's criminal past exposed. In her Ashwood home, Ellie Jensen stared at her own phone, reading message after message from former clients canceling contracts. Mrs. Jensen, in light of recent revelations, given your connection to the Thorntech scandal, will be seeking alternate representation. The doorbell rang. 2 reporters stood on her doorstep, microphones ready. Mrs. Jensen, can you comment on your involvement in Michael Thorne's fraud scheme? What about the allegations of conspiracy to harm your husband? Ellie slammed the door, hands shaking. Her phone buzzed again. Her broker. Ellie, the luxury listings are pulling out. Nobody wants their property associated with. Well, you understand? In his mountain cabin, Art watched the chaos unfold across multiple screens. Each revelation was precisely timed, each piece of evidence strategically released for maximum impact. His secure line blinked. Iris's final report. SEC agents just left with boxes of documents. Mr. Thorne tried destroying some, but I'd already made copies. They're asking about offshore accounts. Good work, Art replied. You'll find your safety net in place. New identity, new job, just as promised. He switched screens to monitor the financial fallout. Thorntech stock was worthless. Michael's personal assets were frozen. The empire built on lies was crumbling. A message from his police contact. DA's office reviewing evidence. Arrest warrant likely within 48 hours. Art opened a new browser window and typed, "Send it." Across the internet, emails began flowing to journalists. Private messages between Michael and Ellie discussing their plans. Evidence of fraud in her real estate dealings. Proof of their conspiracy. His phone rang, Leo's number. Dad. His son's voice was different now, older somehow. There are reporters everywhere. Mom's crying in her office. Is it true? About her and Michael? Yes. Art's voice was firm but gentle. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. Luna found the old photos Mom showed us. They were fake, photoshopped. Michael's not. He's not our real dad, is he? No, son. He's not. Silence, then. We should have known. You taught us better than to believe lies. In her home office, Ellie scrolled through the exposed messages, her face pale. Each one was damning. Discussions of fraud, plans to take Art's money, schemes to turn the twins against him. Her phone buzzed. Michael, you need to deny everything. He snapped before she could speak. Say, I manipulated you. Play the victim. Ellie laughed bitterly. Like you're playing victim? Blaming your board, your employees, everyone but yourself. Don't get self-righteous now, Elle. You were happy enough to play along when the money was flowing. The money's gone, Michael. And so is everything else. She ended the call and opened her email. Another message, this one from the real estate board. License suspended pending investigation. Art's next move was brutal in its simplicity. He released the recording of Michael discussing the planned accident, the one Luna had discovered. The public reaction was immediate and vicious. Michael's lawyer called in a panic. They're coming to arrest you. Get out now. But Michael Thorne, self-proclaimed business genius, had nowhere left to run. His accounts were frozen, his passport flagged, his friends turned enemies. News helicopters circled his building as police cars approached. Inside his penthouse, Michael searched frantically for his emergency cash, his backup phones, anything to help him escape. His computer chimed. One new message, sender unknown. Watching your world burn? That's what betrayal feels like. Art. Michael stared at the screen, finally understanding. Not a business rival. Not a disgruntled employee. The quiet teacher he'd tried to destroy had destroyed him instead. The police pounded on his door. In Ashwood, the twins sat with Mrs. Rodriguez, watching the news of Michael's arrest. I can't believe we fell for it, Luna whispered. All his promises. Your father's coming home, Mrs. Rodriguez said softly. He called. Ask me to look after you until he arrives. What about Mom? Leo asked. As if in answer, they heard glass shatter in the kitchen. Ellie stood amid broken dishes, her phone displaying another cancellation message. My entire client list, she choked out. Gone. My reputation. Everything. You did this. Luna's voice was cold. You and Michael. You tried to steal our real dad from us. Ellie turned, seeing her children's faces. Art's children, with her green eyes, looking at her with their father's sense of justice. I just wanted, she began. More, Leo finished. You always wanted more. In his cabin, Art began packing. His screens showed the complete destruction he'd orchestrated. Michael in handcuffs, Ellie's professional ruin, their web of lies exposed to the world. His phone buzzed one last time. His lawyer. Divorce papers are ready. With the evidence we have, she'll lose everything. The twins, the house, her reputation. It's over, Art. You won. Art looked at his family photo album. No, he said. It's just beginning. He closed his laptops, erased his digital trails, and shouldered his bag. Time to go home. Not to forgive. He was past forgiveness. But to rebuild something stronger from the ashes of betrayal. In the end, Art Jensen hadn't just survived their attempt to destroy him. He had turned their own weapons against them, using truth to destroy their lies, exposure to shatter their secrets, justice to answer their betrayal. The quiet teacher was gone. In his place stood a man who had mastered the art of vengeance. Chapter 8. The rebuilding, the forging of new bonds. The old house in Ashwood needed work, but Art saw potential in its sturdy bones. Like him, it had weathered storms and remained standing. The kitchen needs new cabinets, Leo observed, running his hand along a worn counter. And the backyard's all weeds, Luna added, peering through the window. Art nodded, noting their suggestions. We'll fix it together. Make it ours. The twins exchanged glances. Since Michael's arrest and Ellie's downfall, they'd been staying with Mrs. Rodriguez. Now, standing in this empty house with their father, something shifted. Dad! Luna's voice was hesitant. Those things we said when we thought Michael was... The past is past, Art cut in firmly. We focus on now. On rebuilding. He pulled out a notebook. First priority, your rooms. You choose the colors, the furniture. This is your home too. Leo smiled, a real smile, not the fake ones he'd worn during Michael's reign. Can we paint this weekend? We can start today. Art checked his watch. Hardware stores still open. As they drove, the twins talked more freely than they had in months. About school, about their friends, about their feelings. Everyone at school knows, Luna said quietly. About Mom and Michael. About what they did to you. Art's hands tightened on the steering wheel. How are you handling it? Better than Mom, Leo replied. She tried picking us up from school yesterday. Principal wouldn't let her. The restraining order, Art nodded. That stays in place until the court hearing. At the hardware store, they fill their cart with supplies. Paint, brushes, cleaning materials. Tools for rebuilding more than just a house. Remember when you taught us to build that tree house? Luna asked, examining paint swatches. Before everything? You were both terrible at hammering, Art smiled. But you never gave up. Like you, Leo said softly. You never gave up on us. Even when we chose money and lies? Art finished. You were kids. They manipulated you. But you saw through it in the end. Back at the house, they worked together. Cleaning, painting, planning. Art watched his children rediscover themselves, shed the artificial personas Michael's influence had created. His phone buzzed occasionally, updates about Michael's prosecution, Ellie's professional collapse, the ongoing investigations. He checked them briefly, noting each victory, but his focus remained on his children. Dad! Luna called from upstairs. Can you help me with this wall? He found her staring at her old room's pink walls. Ellie's choice, not Luna's. I want blue, she declared. Like the mountain sky where you stayed. Where you planned to save us. Art opened the paint can. You saved yourselves. You saw the truth. After almost losing you. She gripped her paintbrush. I heard Mom on the phone once, agreeing to Michael's plan. She knew he wanted to hurt you. And you warned me. Art began painting, steady strokes covering the pink. In the next room, Leo was already painting, his strokes aggressive. I hate them, he muttered as Art passed. For lying. For trying to buy us. Hate's a waste, Art replied. Focus on building something better. Days passed. The house transformed, room by room. Art enrolled the twins in therapy, watching them process their trauma, their anger, their guilt. His lawyer called with updates. Ellie's contesting nothing. She knows she'll lose. The evidence is overwhelming. The twins, full custody to you. Her supervised visits depend on their choice. Art shared this with the children over dinner. Pizza on paper plates in their half-finished kitchen. Do we have to see her? Luna asked. Your choice, Art assured them. Always your choice now. Leo pushed his plate away. She keeps texting, saying she's sorry. She made a mistake. Several mistakes, Luna corrected. Big ones. Art watched them. These children who'd grown so much through pain. What do you want? This, Leo gestured around. Our real family. No lies. Luna nodded. She chose Michael. Chose money and status over us. Over you. And now we choose truth, Luna said firmly. Like you taught us? The house slowly became a home. Art returned to teaching, his students and colleagues welcoming him back with respect, not pity. They'd seen the news, seen how he'd turned victimhood into victory. The twins rebuilt their lives too. Their grades improved. They made new friends, real friends, not the privileged circle Michael had pushed them toward. One evening, Art found them in the newly finished living room, looking at the old photo album he'd taken when he left. You kept it. Luna touched a photo gently. All this time, it reminded me what I was fighting for. Leo pointed to a Christmas photo. Mom said these were fake. That Michael was our real dad. And you believe that? Art kept his voice neutral. We wanted the things he promised, Luna admitted. The beach house, the cars. The love had a price tag, Leo added bitterly. Art sat between them. Real love doesn't. They looked through more photos, birthdays, school plays, family vacations. Simple moments that held more value than all of Michael's hollow promises. Dad! Luna looked up. Are you ever going to forgive them? Art's expression hardened. No, but I won't let their betrayal poison our future. Good, Leo said firmly. They don't deserve forgiveness. The doorbell rang. Mrs. Rodriguez with a homemade dinner. She'd become part of their rebuilding, a reminder that some people's loyalty never wavered. As they ate, Art watched his children. They were healing, growing stronger. The twins who had once parroted Michael's materialistic values now spoke of integrity, of truth, of real family bonds. His phone buzzed, another news alert about Michael's case. Another detail of corruption exposed. Another piece of Ellie's carefully constructed world crumbling. Art silenced the phone. His revenge was complete. Now was the time for rebuilding, for strengthening the bonds that betrayal had tested but failed to break. The quiet teacher hadn't just survived. He'd taught his children the most important lesson of all, that truth, however painful, was stronger than any lie. Chapter 9. The Quiet Victory, the Legacy of Truth. Michael Thorne's sentencing hearing packed the courtroom. Art sat in the back, watching his former rival's final defeat. The judge's voice was stern. The evidence of fraud is overwhelming. More disturbing are the allegations of conspiracy to commit murder. Michael stood in his prison jumpsuit, his designer suits and arrogance stripped away. He scanned the courtroom, finally spotting Art. Their eyes met. Art's expression remained neutral, but his eyes held steel. He'd promised to destroy Michael Thorne, and he had delivered. 20 years, the judge announced. No possibility of parole for 15. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Mr. Jensen, how does it feel to see justice served? Any comment on Michael Thorne's sentence? What about your ex-wife's involvement? Art faced them calmly. Justice speaks for itself. Excuse me? He drove to his real estate attorney's office, where Ellie waited to sign the final divorce papers. She looked smaller somehow, her designer clothes replaced by simple blouse and slacks. Art, she began. He held up his hand. Sign. The children are healing. No thanks to you. Ellie's hand trembled as she signed. I never meant To get caught? Art's voice was cold. To have your lies exposed? To lose everything. To hurt them, she whispered. To hurt you? But you did. Actions have consequences, Ellie. You taught me that. Her signature complete, Art gathered the papers. The house is sold. Your share will cover your legal fees. Barely. My license is permanently revoked. The real estate board doesn't look kindly on fraud. He turned to leave. Ellie called after him. Will they ever forgive me? Art paused at the door. You taught them that love can be bought. I'm teaching them it has to be earned. Start there. At home, the twins were doing homework at the kitchen table. Real homework, not the private school assignments Michael had pushed on them. How'd it go? Leo asked. 20 years, Art replied, starting dinner preparations. Your mother signed the papers. Luna looked up. Did she ask about us? Yes. I told her forgiveness has to be earned. Can it be? Leo's voice was thoughtful. After everything, Art chopped vegetables with precise movements. That's not my decision anymore. Or hers. It's yours. The twins shared a look. They did that more now, communicating without words. She texted again, Luna said. Wants to meet. To explain. Your choice. Art reminded them. Maybe. Leo hesitated. Maybe someday. Not now. Art nodded, respecting their decision. They'd learned to think for themselves, to question, to choose wisely. His phone buzzed. A news alert about Thorntech's final liquidation. Michael's empire, built on lies, was now just corporate rubble. Another message followed from his police contact. Ellie's former clients are pressing charges. More fraud uncovered. Art read the messages, then deleted them. The revenge he'd orchestrated had succeeded beyond his plans. Michael was in prison. Ellie was professionally and socially ruined. Their web of lies and manipulation had collapsed completely. But revenge wasn't his focus anymore. His priority was the future he was building with his children. The twins had flourished in their new environment. Their grades had improved, their confidence had grown, and most importantly, they'd learned to value truth over materialism. Dad, Luna called from the living room. Can you help me with this history project? Art joined her at the table, where she was working on a presentation. What's the topic? Justice through the ages, she smiled. I thought of you. Leo looked up from his math homework. You should tell them your story. How you brought down the bad guys. That's not my proudest achievement, Art corrected. This is watching you both grow stronger, wiser. A knock at the door interrupted them. Mrs. Rodriguez stood there with a casserole. Did you hear? Michael's appeal was denied. And Ellie. She hesitated, glancing at the twins. We can handle it, Leo said firmly. She's leaving town. Her last real estate client filed charges. More fraud discovered. Art absorbed this information with a nod. His ex-wife's downfall was complete, just as he'd planned. Yet he felt no joy in it, only a grim satisfaction that justice had been served. Later that night, after the twins had gone to bed, Art sat in his study. The screens that had once displayed his revenge plans now showed student papers to grade. The encrypted channels he'd used to destroy Michael were replaced by educational resources. His phone lit up a message from Iris, starting my new job tomorrow. Thank you for everything. They'll never know how you orchestrated it all. Art replied simply, be well. He opened his desk drawer, pulling out the photo album. The old photos still told their story of betrayal discovered, but now they shared space with new memories. The twins painting their rooms, family dinners with Mrs. Rodriguez, school achievements proudly displayed. A soft knock at his door. Luna stood there in her pajamas. Can't sleep? He asked. She shook her head, sitting beside him. I was thinking about Mom. And Michael. What about them? You could have destroyed them faster. More publicly. Made them suffer more. Art studied his daughter's face, so young, yet so perceptive. That would have been revenge. I wanted justice. What's the difference? Revenge is about making yourself feel better. Justice is about setting things right. He touched the photo album. I didn't want to just hurt them. I wanted to expose their lies, protect you both, and build something stronger from the ruins. Leo appeared in the doorway. Like this house. It was broken, but we fixed it. Made it better. Exactly. Art smiled at his son. The same way we rebuilt our family. The twins settled into their familiar spots. Luna on the couch, Leo in the old armchair. This had become their routine, these late-night talks where healing happened. Do you think they ever loved us? Luna asked softly. Mom and Michael? They loved what you represented, Art answered honestly. Status, success, the perfect family image. But real love isn't about image. It's about truth, Leo said. Like you taught us. Art looked at his children, stronger now, wiser, their innocence replaced by understanding. They'd learned harsh lessons about betrayal, but also powerful ones about resilience and justice. We're better now, Luna declared. Without their lies. Art nodded. His revenge had been complete, but his victory wasn't in destroying Michael and Ellie. It was in this moment. His children whole and healing, their bond stronger, their values unshakable. The quiet teacher had won more than revenge. He'd won back his family's soul. Outside, the night was peaceful. Inside, in this home rebuilt from betrayal's ashes, truth had triumphed. Not with violence or cruelty, but with the patient, relentless exposure of lies. Art Jensen had transformed from victim to victor, from betrayed husband to avenging force. But his greatest transformation was from a man consumed by revenge to a father who taught his children the ultimate lesson, that justice, pursued with unwavering determination, could heal even the deepest wounds. The story of Michael's downfall would fade. Ellie's disgrace would become yesterday's news. But the legacy Art built, a home where truth prevailed, where love wasn't bought but earned, where strength grew from adversity, would endure. In the end, that was his truest victory. Epilogue. A decade later, Art Jensen stood at the podium, addressing the graduating class of Ashwood High School. At 50, his hair showed touches of gray, but his presence commanded respect. Truth, he began, scanning the faces before him, isn't just a concept. It's a foundation. 10 years ago, I learned that lesson the hard way. In the front row, Leo and Luna Jensen, now 20, exchanged knowing glances. They'd grown into impressive young adults. Leo's dark hair and serious expression mirrored his father's, while Luna had inherited her mother's features but none of her deception. Your valedictorian, Art continued, gesturing to Luna, once asked me the difference between revenge and justice. Today, she graduates with honors, heading to law school to fight for those who need truth on their side. Luna touched the acceptance letter in her pocket from Harvard Law. Her application essay about family betrayal and redemption had captured the admissions board's attention. Leo, seated beside her, adjusted his own graduation robes. He'd chosen a different path, pursuing computer science with a focus on cybersecurity. His father's methodical dismantling of Michael's empire had taught him the power of digital warfare. After the ceremony, they gathered at their home, the house they'd rebuilt together. Mrs. Rodriguez, now in her 70s but still sharp, brought her famous paella. 10 years, she mused, helping Luna set the table. Remember when you first moved in? Such broken spirits. Now look at us. Leo grinned, carrying in drinks. Dad's the new principal, Luna's going to Harvard, and I'm heading to MIT. Art watched his children, no longer the confused 10-year-olds who'd believed Michael's lies. They'd grown into adults who understood the value of truth and loyalty. His phone buzzed, a news alert about Michael Thorne. After serving 10 years, he was up for parole. Did you see? Luna asked, noting her father's expression. Yes. Art set the phone aside. They're unlikely to grant it. Because of the new evidence? Leo had followed the case closely. During his imprisonment, more of Michael's crimes had surfaced. Former business associates, emboldened by his downfall, had come forward with evidence of older frauds. Partly, Art replied, but mainly because he hasn't changed. Still blames everyone else. The doorbell rang. More guests arriving for the graduation celebration. Art's colleagues from school, Leo and Luna's friends, the network of support they'd built over the years. Across town, in a small apartment, Ellie Jensen, now using her maiden name, prepared for another shift at the local diner. Her fall from grace had been complete. The fraud charges had resulted in community service, but the loss of her real estate license and reputation had been permanent. She kept a graduation invitation on her dresser, unopened. The twins had sent it out of courtesy, not desire for her presence. Their relationship remained distant. Occasional texts, rare phone calls, boundaries firmly maintained. Her phone held photos of their lives gleaned from social media. Achievements she'd missed, milestones she'd sacrificed for Michael's empty promises. In the state penitentiary, Michael Thorne waited for his parole hearing. Prison had aged him harshly. His smooth charm had turned bitter, his business genius reduced to running small scams in the prison yard. He'd tried writing to the twins once, offering explanations, excuses. They'd returned his letters unopened. His attempts to contact Ellie had met similar rejection. The empire he'd built on lies had crumbled to dust. Back at the Jensen home, the graduation party was in full swing. Art watched Leo showing his friends the advanced security system he designed, his first patent pending. MIT's already talking about developing it, Leo explained. It identifies fraud patterns in real time. Luna sat with her own friends, discussing her plans for law school. Dad taught us that justice needs warriors, she was saying. People willing to stand for truth, no matter the cost. Art moved through the crowd, accepting congratulations for his children's success. His promotion to principal had come with recognition for transforming the school's ethics curriculum. Mr. Jensen? A young voice caught his attention. One of his students holding a newspaper. Is it true? About Michael Thorne? Art took the paper, reading the headline. Tech fraudster's parole denied. New evidence surfaces. Yes, he replied simply. Actions have consequences. Later that evening, after the guests had left, Art sat with his children in their favorite spots. Luna on the couch, Leo in the old armchair. Remember when we first moved in? Luna touched the wall she'd painted blue years ago. Everything was broken. Not everything, Leo corrected. Dad wasn't broken. He was transforming. Art studied his children's faces. We all transformed. You both could have chosen bitterness, chosen to let their betrayal define you. Instead, we chose truth, Luna said. Like you taught us? Leo opened his laptop, showing them his latest project. I've been tracking Michael's old business partners. Some are still running similar schemes. Plan to take them down? Art asked. Already started. Legally, of course. My security system caught their patterns. Luna leaned forward. And I'll be in a position to prosecute them soon. Art felt pride mixed with caution. Just remember, justice, not revenge, they finished in unison. The conversation turned to future plans. Luna's law school preparations, Leo's software company launch, Art's ideas for the school's next term. Their phones buzzed simultaneously, a news update. Michael's former assistant Iris had written a book about corporate fraud, dedicating it to the quiet teacher who taught me courage. She never knew it was you, Leo marveled. None of them did. They knew what mattered, Art replied. That truth wins. Eventually, Mrs. Rodriguez, preparing to leave, paused in the doorway. Your grandmother would be proud, she told Art. You protected your family, just like she protected you. The mention of his grandmother, who'd raised him after his parents' death, brought a rare softness to Art's expression. She taught me that family isn't about blood. It's about loyalty. After Mrs. Rodriguez left, the twins shared their own news. I've been offered an internship, Luna announced, at the DA's office. The same one that prosecuted Michael. And my security system? Leo added. The patent office says it could revolutionize fraud detection. Art listened, hearing in their achievements the echoes of lessons learned through pain. They'd taken the betrayal that could have destroyed them and turned it into purpose. His phone buzzed again, Ellie sending her congratulations to the twins. They acknowledged the message briefly, maintaining the careful distance they'd established. Do you ever regret it? Luna asked suddenly. Not the revenge, but letting everyone see, making it so public. Art considered the question. Darkness grows in secrecy. Lies thrive in silence. The truth needed light. Like sunshine killing bacteria, Leo quipped, ever the scientist. They talked late into the night, planning their futures while remembering their past. The conversation turned to Michael's parole denial. He never understood, Luna mused. Power isn't in making people fear you. It's in standing for something real. Like you did, Dad, Leo added. You could have just disappeared. Let them win? Art shook his head. That would have taught you the wrong lesson. That truth doesn't matter. That justice is negotiable. The twins had learned well. Luna's choice of law, Leo's focus on fighting digital fraud. They'd taken their father's lessons and built futures around them. Their phones buzzed one final time that night. Another update about Michael. He'd been caught running investment scams from prison. Additional charges pending. Some people never change, Leo observed. But we did, Luna countered. We got stronger. Art looked around their home. The house they'd rebuilt. The life they'd reconstructed from betrayal's ashes. The quiet teacher had become a warrior for truth. His children had grown from victims of lies into defenders of justice. The photo album still sat in his study, but new pictures filled its pages. Graduation photos, awards ceremonies, family celebrations, real moments, not the fake perfection Michael and Ellie had crafted. Tomorrow, Luna would begin packing for Harvard. Leo would finalize his software patents. Art would continue shaping young minds as principal. But tonight, they sat together, three survivors who'd turned betrayal into strength, pain into purpose, revenge into justice. 10 years, Art mused. Sometimes it feels like yesterday. Sometimes it feels like another life, Luna said. Leo agreed. We're different people now. Better ones. Art nodded, watching his children, stronger than he'd ever imagined they could be. The quiet teacher's revenge had evolved into something more powerful, a legacy of truth, justice, and unbreakable family bonds. The story of Michael's downfall was now a cautionary tale. Ellie's betrayal had become a lesson in consequences. But the story of the Jensen family, their rebuilding, their transformation, their triumph, that was a legend of justice served and truth preserved. In the end, Art Jensen hadn't just destroyed those who betrayed him. He'd built something stronger from the ruins. His children carried that strength forward, ensuring that the legacy of truth would endure long after the memory of betrayal faded. The quiet teacher had taught his final lesson, that justice, pursued with unwavering determination and rooted in truth, was the most powerful force of all. And there you have it. Another story comes to an end. What did you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this story, consider joining our community by subscribing. It means the world to us. For more stories like this one, check out the recommended videos on screen. And I'll see you there.